And we're live from sunny South Central Los Angeles, California, USA. I'm Mark, and I'm a codependent narcissist. As humans, we're really addicted to four things. We're addicted to substances, illegal drugs, alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, sugar, food. We're addicted to relationships. That's what codependency is. We're addicted to doing things, like being a workaholic. People are addicted to porn. People are addicted to gambling. And we're addicted to mood changing, such as being a rageaholic or obsessive thinking, OCD. I've been addicted to all of these things, except maybe gambling. Never got into that, but I'm sure if the opportunity arose, I might have gotten into that. Because really, addictions are symptoms, and the symptoms are from toxic shame. Toxic shame, chronic shame, whatever you want to call it, is, in my opinion, a huge problem in the world that nobody really talks about. We know this is a problem, or I know this is a problem, because there are so many of these addictions out there that are just commonplace these days. We don't even think about them anymore, really. With chronic shame, the brain is actually being pruned back. All of your dopamine, serotonin, all these things, all the neurotransmitters in your brain don't work 100%. And what this does is causes just chronic depression, chronic anxiety. And because it's chronic and because it becomes your whole life, you don't even know that it should be any different. It just becomes who you are, becomes you, or actually you become it. I haven't really had awareness around any of these until recently. I did not know that I had chronic depression or chronic anxiety or any of these things. Because when you have chronic shame, shame is, I made a mistake. Shame is, I am no good. And if you believe that you're a flawed and unlovable person, why would you ever want to try and change yourself? You feel, or I feel at my core, that I was unlovable, that I was unwantable, unwanted, that I was flawed. And when we have shame, or when I have shame, I went into hiding. I told myself that I was flawed and that none of these other things existed. And thank God for addictive substances that took me out of my pain. That for brief moments, I forgot about that wounded inner pain, that wounded inner child. And there's really no recovery for toxic shame unless I was willing to come out of hiding. Unless I was willing to embrace my shame. Ding. When my phone goes off, it means I'm speaking the truth. Delete that. So, where was I? Really, there's no recovery from toxic shame unless I was willing to come out of hiding and to go to a 12-step program, Codependence Anonymous, to admit I was powerless over myself, and to start sharing. You're around people that have the same thing as you, and nobody's there to judge. Everyone's there, and you could say whatever you want. At Code of meetings, it's anonymous. You can share your deepest most shameful parts of you. And then people will give you your phone number and be like, man, thanks for sharing. I really appreciate that. So it becomes this really very healing process. And the only way to heal is to embrace your pain. And it's very true when they say the only way out is through. That's really where healing begins. And all of a sudden, you don't need your addictions anymore. When I came to this realization that I had to embrace my pain to get out of it, man, I freaked the fuck out. I really freaked the fuck out. Even though I know I'm here to face fears and to become love, you have to face fears and overcome our fears. That actually doing them is much harder, much scarier than talking about it or just me explaining it myself on any sort of webcast, live stream, podcast. I still don't know what to call this. Because you actually have to do the work. It's not about just like when you read a self-help book and you feel good for a day or two that like, man, I just read the self-help book. I'm so awesome. It's not really how it works. You actually have to do the work yourself. You actually have to feel your pain and embrace your motherfucking pain. And your brain freaks the fuck out because our brains freak the fuck out because our brains are wired to avoid pain at all costs. So I wasn't really, until recently, willing to embrace this pain because I found a way to mask the pain. When I smoked cannabis, I felt better. I felt that the pain was gone. It was an omission. It was so chronic, anxiety and depression, that it was so pervasive and always there that I didn't even realize it. I only realized when it wasn't there. And that led me to smoke weed all day sometimes, you know. I'd smoked 3, 4, 5 joints a day sometimes just because I needed to be in a clear and focused mindset, and I could only get there by having that chronic pain and anxiety, the chronic depression. Just I needed it out of there. You know, I used to not smoke for maybe a day, 2 days, whatevs. And as soon as I smoked, I was like, whoa, that was such a bad idea, not smoking. Why did I put myself through that? Why did I do that to myself? I know this is helping me. But what I've come to realize, it was only masking the pain. It was just clearing out some symptoms. I had not yet embraced the pain because that was too scary. It was so scary. And only recently have I started embracing the pain, embracing my emotions, feeling my pain. And when you start feeling your pain, you realize you can feel other emotions, that your pain you don't want to feel pain, so you shut down all emotions. All of my emotions got shut down. So when I smoked weed, I would be happy. Or when I was with a woman and she validated me, I would be happy. And that feeling of toxic shame would be gone momentarily, because it would always come back because I had not yet dealt with it. And the way you really deal with it is to feel your feelings, is to really start feeling your feelings. And when you feel your feelings, you begin to feel all of your emotions. And then I realized that I was using this drug to make me happy, or a woman's validation I needed to, so I would be happy. And that happiness, I was like, hey, that feels great. But it's dysfunctional. It's so dysfunctional. And I don't need a someone or a substance to feel happy anymore. Or thinking that one day when I had this certain thing, then I could be happy. I now know what happiness is like, and I realize that happiness is a choice. Happiness is a vibration. Happiness is a choice that you have to choose to feel happy, or I have to choose to feel happy. In the moment, in the present moment, I am now choosing to feel happy. And it feels fucking amazing. It really feels great that I'm able to share, to process this toxic shame, to embrace it, to feel my feelings. Because then I could choose these feelings that I thought I could only get externally, feelings I could only get from women or from weed. And now I willfully choose gratitude or joy or happiness or whatever other emotion I want to feel in the present moment. Without feeling my pain, I could have never felt any of these emotions. But I thought I was. That was the issue. I was so living in my head. I was so intellectual. I was intellectualizing my whole existence around feelings. I was not feeling happy. I thought I was feeling happy. I was not feeling gratitude. I thought I was feeling gratitude, but realizing I was mostly ungrateful. Realizing I did not feel a lot of joy. I thought maybe I did, but I didn't really know what that was because I didn't know how to feel anything. So when you process this toxic shame out of your body by embracing it, by sharing it, by not hiding your shame anymore, you don't need your addictions. You don't need these things to mask your pain or to mask your emotions or to mask your life or to take you away from living, from life itself. And I'm not great at this yet. This is all really new for me. And my thoughts still get pulled away into other things, and maybe not things I always want to be thinking about positively with a positive, great vibration in the moment. But because of meditation, I'm pretty aware of when these things happen. I can see when I'm not the master of my own thoughts, when they're just kind of like spinballing. Is that a word? Spinballing? When they're just like spinning and I'm not in control. At least now with meditation, I can stop it and be like, whoa, homie, you need to stop this shit. This is not you. These are just your subconscious thoughts going crazy right now. Okay, I understand. I am the observer of my thoughts. I am not the thoughts myself. I can recenter myself. I can refocus. I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. I'm actually going to have compassion for myself, knowing that I'm not perfect and I'm not fucking trying to be perfect anymore. I know that I'm learning and I'm just trying to be authentic with my learning, authentic with my process, authentic with my sharing, authentic as fuck, really. That's what I'm really trying to do. I'm just trying to be myself for maybe the first time ever. And realizing that this shame is not me is like the biggest realization that I've ever had for myself. It's very freeing. I quit smoking cannabis, just 3 days ago, and already my dreams are coming back. My meditations are much more clear. I'm into meditation. I even knew that cannabis was messing with that. It was really becomes foggier and foggier and foggier, and you still kind of get. I still would get some things out of it, but it's not as clear as it used to be. Or when I took the 2-week break off, when I went to France to meet Tom Campbell at the, I knew I was going to a meditation conference. I knew like I had to like kind of sober up before that. I knew when I was in Asia for a couple, 2-3 months this summer, and I wasn't smoking weed, that my meditation became really clear. I'm not a super visual meditative person. I really more feel things. Some people have these experiences where you're just like in another reality, like you're in a movie. It's so visual. It's so, I wouldn't even know how to describe it, except that it's happened to me once. When I was in Thailand, I had this meditation where I was like right above the head of this like young jaguar running through the tree limbs in a jungle. And I was there and I was experiencing it. And it was pretty fucking amazing. I'd never experienced anything like that before in any of my meditations. So I knew all this was possible, and I still was smoking weed because I still had that inner pain. I still had that feeling of toxic shame just in my body. It was pervasive, and I thought maybe through meditation and journaling and drug use would heal that, but quite the opposite. The healing it is by embracing it and talking about it. That's why these 12-step programs, whether AA, NA, Gambling Anonymous, Codependency Anonymous, that's why they work so well, is because you have to come out of hiding and you have to be willing to talk about your shame. And that is fucking tough. It was really difficult for me, and I can only understand, and I super empathize with everybody else who has the same feeling and that same feeling of toxic shame, because to admit it is just a really difficult thing. It's really difficult, but it's very freeing. If you find this message, you are really on the path of self-discovery and self-love, of healing and transcending. And I want you to know that, or I want you to hope that and understand that when I tell you that, even though I don't know you, and even though I may never meet you or laugh with you, hug you, cry with you, kiss you, that I really love you, with all my heart, because I really understand you and I really understand your pain. And thanks for having the courage to start to look at yourself. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be of service.